welcome. How's everybody doing?
All right.
How you doing? How are you?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Good
to see you. Good to see you. That hug took you out the chair.
Yeah,
Look at that. Did y'all see that? That hug took him out the chair. I'm glad everybody could make time today. I know the campaign trail, well, I don't know about for y'all being busy, but I know it's really busy. You probably out there knocking on doors. People like, why are you knocking on my door? Who are you? But you got to let them know. And speaking of that, how about we go around and just let everybody know who we are, you know, what everybody's running for. We got at-large candidates here today, but let's introduce ourselves.
Roe McClendon, and I am running for city council at large on the Democratic ticket.
And I'm Cynthia D. Blake, running for city council at large, and I am running on the Republican ticket.
Virone Finney, and I am also running for city council at large on the Republican side.
And thank y'all for tuning in. I'm Will Blake, running for Ward 4 City Council here in Akron, Ohio. So with everybody running for city council at large, we got Republican tickets here, we got a Democratic ticket here at large. The views and the vision of each platform may be a little bit different for everybody. But I want to start a small discussion on what your general overview is on what your particular vision is for the city and how you plan to serve your constituency.
Okay. Well, basically, I just look at it as having a voice for the city where you can speak for everyone and everyone has a platform. Being from Akron, Ohio all my life, you know, it seems like it's always been a certain way of doing things, kind of like that status quo. And it's just time for a change. Maybe some younger, more initiative type ideas, some different things to move the city. Some kind of way, it seems like we still operating back in the 60s on a frame of mind and a thought process and how things are going around the city of Akron. So just giving the people of Akron a different point of view, a different perspective, fresh idea, innovative ideas, and different ways of doing things around the city.
So like, as far as like status quo, I mean, do y'all think that it's a particular subset that's keeping things the same way? Do you think that we just have aged into a particular path in Akron and a certain subset of people think the same way? Is it a population is just getting older? Is there not enough of an influx of younger people? I mean, what are the thoughts behind that as far as why the vision may be a status quo now and we need more of a shift out of that?
Well, I mean, like Mr. Finney said, it is 2023, and if you are still conducting policies of 1960, then you are severely outdated. I feel like they haven't done enough research or even cared enough to try to run things on a modern scale. Just basically that whole format, I agree with them on that. Like, for Democrats who are Republican, I definitely agree with you.
And I don't mean to cut him off, but just look at the city council meeting the other night.
On Monday. 5 hours long, 6 votes no on the one individual for the oversight committee, or the last day of the month for Black History Month, you know.
And that's for the citizens.
For the citizens. That's what the citizens had wanted. So for me, I want to represent the citizens. I want to uplift the citizens. I want to go down and work as a team worker. As an individual, I'm tired of seeing all this divide 7-6 at city council meeting. You know, they say they're there for the people, but at the end of the day, that was a prime example of the meeting where they weren't. We need to have city council as, or be a council member as a co-worker, as a team. The citizens in Akron, they need to see us working together, collaborating. And that's not what you're getting there. And they showed you. The one individual said, I made a commitment to something else. But it wasn't a commitment to us,
the people,
who you represent. And it's, you know.
Yeah, I feel that totally. Like, especially when it comes to the mayor, like, I feel like it's a lot of folks in these seats that are doing like his bidding. Like, even though he's not about to run again, like right about now, it's like, okay, I've got this person here. I know push come to shove, without a doubt, I can win 7-6 every time on my own agenda. And I feel like the people's agenda has to be placed first.
and piggybacking off of what he said, it's also, Mr. McClendon, when you have people on city council that's running unopposed, and then you have another 4 years, you're going to continue that status quo. You're going to continue to do that because nobody's challenging those platforms, those issues, those structures that's been in place since the 60s.
So it's a complacency issue.
No, you get choked out.
Okay.
So say like, they're not even going to try to take me serious. Here I am, I'm a black female running on the Republican side. Everybody wants to look at what happens nationally, which I can't control what happens nationally.
Exactly.
My stakeholder is here. I'm a vested, long life member of this city, a daughter of this city, and the same issues in the community that they have are the same ones that I want and that my heart desires. But they don't want to take us serious because they kind of feel for African Americans, the only party that can represent them is the Democrat Party. And that's not true. Then people look at me, you're a Republican, like, I can be an African American female and be a Republican. I have that right.
I have a brother that's Republican as well.
Right.
I still love it.
I think just because you affiliate with a certain party doesn't necessarily mean you share 100% of the same views. It's the same way as far as being a part of a sports team. You know, you may not agree with every play that happens, but you run the play. And then sometimes you talk and you have your certain ideas and you shift to the ideas that you have, or you think another player has a better idea.
That's not how it is anymore. It's so much tribalism into local politics. What individuals in the city of Akron have to understand is politics starts locally. You got to start picking local candidates to get to the national level. Okay? It's not what we're witnessing, the meeting that just took place this past Monday for 5 hours and 6 votes. We're witnessing just one party. It hasn't been a Republican on city council in over 40 years or in the city at large seat for 50. So you can't say that we're the issue when we're not involved locally.
I understand.
So what has happened is that we're pigeonholed into the circumstances, okay? You have just one party that muscles certain and just continue to weed them out. Like, you're not really allowed to run on the other side against. That's why they have all these unopposed. They always clear the playing field for them. Deals were already made. So they've already choked out the other individual.
So what can members of the respective communities do? You know, what can a particular member of a community do if they see that sort of stagnation happening within their district, within their ward?
Register. Go vote. Because, I mean, realistically, when it comes down to it, this is the election that affects you every day. These are the people making the policy that affect you every day. So the best thing you can do is not say, oh, it doesn't matter. I can understand on the national level when it's a presidential election, things of that nature. Okay, we've seen a couple times where the majority vote didn't win. What did my vote even count for? Like, my vote really didn't count. But in this, the majority votes are going to win. So if you will go ahead and just register and vote, listen to these folks. Like, my whole thing that I'm running on is accountability. You have to hold people accountable. You got to hold everybody in office, everybody in the seats accountable to these people. One of the things I plan on doing is after the meetings on Monday, going live with putting out a live broadcast on another platform on Wednesday and breaking it down for the average Joes every day. Like, that's the whole thing about it. A lot of folks in these meetings talking jargon that the regular folks cannot understand. What do they mean by that? So, okay, we had the meeting Monday. You got Tuesday to get it together. Now, Wednesday, this is what it means. This is exactly what they meant when they said what they said, and this is how it affects you, the people. Now, a lot of folks don't understand when they come out to these meetings, they have the actual power. Like, you have the power. Talk to the people that are in these seats. They'll let you know.
Breaking it down to layman's terms.
I think
rich dummy terms, like you said.
No, it's
rich dummy terms.
The other thing is that the community hasn't been taught how to vote. They say, go vote, go vote, vote, go vote. You got to learn how to block vote. Because, see, in one ward, they only going to vote for one person. We continue to vote for 3. So it's 3 slots for city council. You don't want to vote for 3. You just only want to pick 2 or 1 or pick the ones that we want. And quit given the extra vote to carry the other individuals over the threshold. So we need to learn how to block vote. We need to learn how to go vote in a primary. That's the other thing. We don't vote in primaries when the most critical race isn't your presidential race, it's your primary. Because if you vote in the primary, you wouldn't have to deal with it on the general.
When we look at the media, I mean, overall, when we look at the media, we see that people mostly get their news from TV, newspapers, and let's be honest now, social media. Now, obviously, when we look at TV and newspapers, you have to be an institution to even disseminate news at that level. But social media is more accessible. I know you touched on it earlier, but how do you plan on leveraging that accessible media to communicate with your constituency, break it down into layman's terms? But on the flip side, how can you continue to learn what your constituency wants? How can you figure out in a more collective sense what the general census is, or the consensus is, what those sentiments are of your constituency?
I try to continue to keep my finger on the pulse of the community by working with the various organizations that I do. I am a member of the Council of Negro Women. They just recently had what they call the Laundry of Love, where if the individuals came into the laundromat, we washed your clothes, and we're now trying to get individuals that are homeless or individuals that need a copy of their birth certificate, because this race on May the 2nd, you have to be registered and everything in by April 2nd. And you get a free ID. You do get a free state ID. However, to get that, you got to produce your Social Security card and your birth certificate. So I try to keep my finger on the pulse of the community by staying with various organizations to hear what their needs are, and as well as work in the community.
I mean, what about people that aren't in organizations, though? I mean, I being a part of service organizations, I do the same thing.
Right.
But I feel like some people feel left out.
Right.
That's why some people don't vote. And they feel like that is how they are expressing their concerns, is saying, I don't like any of the choices here, or I'm not educated on any of the choices here, or it was difficult for me to find out. So I'm going to make a choice not to vote. And with social media, I feel like, everybody got a phone in their pocket. Everybody, I got one in my pocket right now. Everybody got one of these.
Right.
But you gotta utilize all those platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, all those social media feeds. And then you got to know what age groups cater to them. So the older crowd is going to be more Facebook, the younger crowd is going to be more TikTok, and then you have to become media savvy, where that you know how to use those platforms to reach those targeted audiences.
Now, do you think that that's the duty of a council person?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to try to get your constituents to definitely engage. It's like it should be, they have a senior commission, but it should also be a young adult commission.
I mean, at the bottom line, you are a servant of the people.
Right.
Like, that's what these seats are all about. Like, I am a servant to these people. So how do I reach out to these people? Okay, like he said, older folks, Facebook.
Right.
Middle-aged, older folks, Instagram. Younger ones, Snapchat, TikTok. No matter how you get it done, you just got to go ahead and get it done. And what you touched on was, how do you respond, or how do you listen to them and what
exactly.
When I told you about the actual live broadcast on the actual site, it's going to be something live. I want to read your comments out loud. I want to see what you're telling me out loud. And if you tell me something that I don't know, I'm going to tell you, hey, I don't know, but by next week I'll have an answer for you. That's the thing about it. I'm personally going to be accountable to getting you the answer for this by next week.
And that's what we forgot, is that you want to hear from the constituents. You want to take what they have to say and put it into motion, and then make legislation that could be impactful for their lives. And what we're witnessing today is the tribalism against each other. It's nothing for us. I've been a part of Third Ward, and then at the last meeting they happened to say it's the poorest community. They wait till the condition of our neighborhood goes all the way down, but now all of a sudden they can build $200,000 homes on Rose Avenue. And the people that been living there all this year, their conditions don't change.
Third Ward, what's up with the 5?
Right.
The Fifth Ward is something crazy.
Their conditions don't change. I mean, they living right there and nothing changes. It's just, we have forgotten to serve the people. We have forgotten.
But also, we got the people just flipping it on the other side has to hold the people that they choose accountable.
Yeah.
Showing up to ward meetings, showing up to city council, voicing their concerns about whatever their issues are, whether it's roads, whether it's police, whether it's wetlands, whether it's trash pickup, whether it's guns, violence, crime. You know, they have to. By not saying anything, you're not helping.
And I feel like each ward.
That's what's not being done.
Yeah, each ward has enough power inside of each ward to be like, hey, how do y'all like what he's been doing? Oh, have we seen the difference? Have we seen the change? No? All right, so let's not vote for this man next time. Let's get somebody. You don't need forever to realize that somebody. Yes, you're going to need some time to for you to implement things in Ward 4 that you want to get done. And I'm sure it's going to take some time, but it's not going to take forever.
Right.
It's not going to take forever. So these people who have been in these seats for 10, 12, 13, 14 years, whatever, however long they've been in here, if you haven't made a difference in this amount of time, it is time for you to go. Somebody else got to get in that seat.
I would also recommend that we have term limits. You can't have nobody running for 20, 30 years. 8 years is enough. Bring in somebody else, let them do
New
it.
blood.
You need new ideas to be brought to the table. I've always been open to that, but that's just not the political landscape for Summit County or the city of Akron. It's just not. It's just not. They're going to muscle individuals out, and that's just been the pro quo of how
I mean, but how do
they
you really muscle the masses? Like, you can't muscle the masses.
If you run unattended or
unopposed,
unopposed, you can just
right
be
there.
there. Just like we got about 6 or 7 of them right now. That's not
It's
even
four of them.
it's
It's
4
four
of
of
them.
Three.
them unopposed.
Three? That's
It's
running
four.
unopposed.
It's 10,
Yeah, 10,
2,
2,
and I think 9.
Donnie.
But if they don't have, they're not running.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm talking
7.
about on the Republican side too, not just for the Democrat side. They run unopposed.
Oh, yeah.
But then when they get in a
Yeah,
election,
somebody got to challenge them.
They don't even have a Republican running up against them.
Right. And that's because, like I said, there hadn't been one elected in 30, 40 years. So, the city has changed. Most of them have moved into the suburban areas. And
They got comfortable, right?
Well, I
Or
mean,
no?
most of them have just moved into suburban areas, and it's just a few left that stayed in the city.
So you would see a lot higher Republican numbers in like Green and Cuyahoga
Those
Falls.
areas, right.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
and right now dealing with Akron, I mean, I can see exactly what you're talking about.
Right.
When we talking about how we can get new and fresh ideas, how do we get those who may have been in office for quite some time to, instead of getting voted out, to do more of a passing of the torch? Where people say, hey, I've served.
That's not gonna happen. People
They ain't
probably
giving up
need
that
benefits.
money, man.
You never know why people are
Man,
staying in the seat. Some of them probably get
benefits.
benefits. You do get a salary. You do get benefits with that. They probably need the insurance.
I mean, it's a lot going on.
It's a lot.
Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat nothing. Like, I feel like it's some of these folks that's a padding pockets, bro.
Right.
Like, I have the salary, but I'm also able to do this and this on the side and allow my family to eat real good over the time, and I don't want to give it up. I don't care who is hurting, and it's hurting the people.
We kind of don't pass the torch even in other ways, even at the church. They don't want to give up being chairman of the deacon board or over the ushers. They always hold long positions and stuff, and so then it continues even into the political landscape. Where we not trying. Nobody's gonna just give you a pass up the torch and say good luck. No.
And I'm not saying necessarily a passing of a torch to a particular person. I'm saying a passing of the torch to the community to say, hey, I have served my time. I feel I've served you well. And I feel that there should be a fresh face, fresh ideas, and I'm not leaving my servanthood, but I'm leaving this particular capacity.
Well, people are always slow to resistance.
Well,
People are always slow resistance to change, and then you always have a way of doing things. I'm a part of several organizations. I'm the president of West Akron Kiwanis, and I'm the lieutenant governor of the state 16th division. And part of our problem is when we bring in new members, and it's an older organization, like older gentlemen that's in their 60s and 70s, you bring in these new members with young, innovative ideas, and they run them off. and people quit and they don't want to be a part of it because the younger generation, they want things done like right now. They don't want to wait. They don't want to have, okay, let me just do 10 years and then I'll be in that position. They want everything right now. So you got to be able to cater to those younger generations, and then they got to have patience to understand that you got to wait your turn. But as we were saying, it would be good if we had term limits, so we could always have that. But at this point, we'll have the same people in the next 20 years because that's how we do things, and that's how we've always done things at Akron.
I mean, what does waiting your turn look like, though? And I know you didn't necessarily mean that pejoratively.
Waiting your turn looks like the fact that they did the report that said that we were economically left out for the last 20 years, but they still want us to wait our turn. They did a report. It was in the paper.
Even if you look at the Democrats, the way that they run things and operate, you know, you got Mobian, Fusco, and Ginger. And I'm sure Fusco's been there for forever. But then you got Mobian and Ginger who was on the school board, and then they waited their turn. Once they got done with the school board, they saw that it was an opening on city council, and then they moved straight into that position. And that's kind of like how they do things. You run for the school board to get your name out there, get a platform so that I can run for something else. So you got to be careful with a lot of people that's in these positions because they're running for something for a greater gain as opposed to I'm going to do my time here, and then when something happens on the city council level, I can move up. Then when something happens on the state level, I can move up. Everybody got their own hidden agenda, and it's not for the city and it's not for the community.
It's more so everybody works for self, and so they use the school board now as the jump start.
Platform.
You know, the platform. Everybody's supposed to go that route. You know, I never chose that way because I've always just wanted to be a part of meaningful legislation to impact our lives. So he's made a very good point. It's really almost everybody is for self, but it used to be a time when the community got together and said, who's going to be the best individuals? This is when cross aisles, when they worked together and said who will be the best representative.
And I mean, I feel like they can go back to that. They just don't know how to go about it.
Well, they,
like,
they can't just go back to that. They can't do it.
I disagree. I think that with enough instruction, enough examples, the streets, the cities, the people themselves will be able to see what is good for them, and they will be able to converse amongst, especially how easy it is now to converse. Like you said, social media. Oh, I like this guy. This guy's saying the right things. He has the right resume. Y'all should go take a look at this guy. All it takes is the right people in those sections to get everybody else to follow. It's a league of followers right now.
Well, yeah, I agree with some of what you're saying, but for example, they have rules in place. Like if you do something on the D side, this will happen to you, or this will happen to you, or that will happen to you. So that's why I was saying, you know, it's kind of hard for us as people to pick who we want. We allow too many outside influences to come in to make our decisions, and that's not good. We should be able to handle our own situations. And
it's good to have both parties represented, so you have two different point of views as opposed to one party running everything, and everybody doing the status quo. This is what coming down from the top. You know, if the mayor says this is my initiative, this is what I want to do, if you want to get elected, you better do it. So you got pretty much people following suit with that as opposed to stepping out and saying, well, you know what, I think the people might want this or that might, and then we cater into a certain group always. You know, and then that's another thing that needs to change around here. Like I said, we're not in the 60s anymore.
You've had individuals that were on city council that just changed their party from Republicans just to get elected. I'm still staying 100, you know. You've had past members that changed their parties just so that they could be a part of the local government of city council.
And you'll be surprised how many folks with democratic ways but Republican ideas are doing things.
Right.
I mean, all the ideas aren't totally, every idea that each party has aren't totally, you know what I'm saying, that far from each other sometimes. You have some that are definitely far, but you have some that are like, they are aligned.
But, you know, us being economically left out and nobody's really jumping up and down or think that's an issue, not concerned where the workforce dollars are, don't have a true understanding that how do I want to say it, you know, a lot of these policies and stuff get set with redistricting and everything from the census tract. So from the census tract data, that's even where your service delivery area dollars get sent. And that's the money that the county handles. Because we're up under 500,000 as a population, the county handles what the labor department gives out in money, which is the service delivery area. And that's huge only because that's the workforce dollars. So we don't have control, living in the city, we don't have control over our workforce dollars. So if we were economically left out, it's important that those dollars get structured to the city so that we can get other skill sets for industries and their demands. You know, the computer programmer, the game programmer. It's important that we know more about where the labor force dollars are going.
Talking about you guys' campaigns and how far along everybody might be in a different spot. But so far, I mean, what struggles have you all faced so far? What small wins have you all had so far? What victories or triumphs you had? We're just a couple months out from this May primary, and I want to know, where are you in your campaign?
Wow.
What's going on?
I don't know where you really, I don't think we have all night. Okay.
Okay, let us know.
I mean, I myself and Byron, we're not in a primary, so our site won't be having a primary on May 2nd. The other individuals will. But mine would be, when you say a struggle, I'm a lifelong individual, like I said, of Akron, a daughter of this city. It's just unfortunate that because I don't want to get beat up later on. I don't. Individuals.
Don't beat her up,
no.
y'all. Don't beat her up.
Individuals put politics over friendships. Instead of looking at me, the person, and not the party.
Yes.
You know, it's unfortunate that people just can say the word "are," and it's like, I could never do it. It's unfortunate when there has been great contributions from African American Republicans to this city that go unsaid. Thaddeus Garrett, Attorney Sam Kelly, Attorney Howard Ford, the late Janice and Norman Parnell, the photographer Opie Evans, Judge Rulak, Sandra Robinson, my father, my mother, Mr. Detweiler, the math teacher. Great Republicans that have made great contributions in this city, but you know, it's just kind of like just shoved up under the rug because of things that happen nationally. But those are what my struggles are, because, you know, everybody just feels, oh, well, you just can't represent us, when that's not true. You know, you have individuals, even the church. You know, you'll have a pastor jumping up and down in the pulpit to say don't vote for Republicans, but when they lay their head down at nighttime, they next door to a Republican. And majority of the pastors in the city of Akron, they don't even live in the city. I'm not throwing any of them up under the bus, but these are what the obstacles are, whereas my information can't get disseminated in the church like others can. And why is it that we have to continue to use the church or disrupt the church service on Sunday? I'm talking about in African American churches. Why do we allow parading candidates through our church service, but white candidates don't take black candidates to their church? See, that was done in the civil rights era to get the message out. But even during the civil rights era, they didn't disrupt the church, the morning church service. I go there to have my soul fed for the word, okay? So those are the obstacles. And if you put our information in the church, they're going to throw it away, and the other ones, their information can stay. So those are what my obstacles are. You know?
I would say for me, I have let more information and less rules of thumb. So you go, you pick up your packet, and they tell you, hey, this is the information that you need to know, read this. But a lot of times we first time runners for political office don't understand the infrastructure of everything that we're trying to not necessarily go against, but be a part of. From grabbing your signatures, EIN, deputy treasurer, opening your bank account. One bank told me that it was going to take 30 to 40 days to open my bank account. And I said, well, that just becomes another barrier to entry.
And they also told me that even if I am my treasurer, I still have to get somebody from my political party to sign as a witness. I said, for what? Like, I'm the treasurer. If this is the only thing about a campaign that can send me to jail, I'm going to be fully responsible for this. So if I'm the treasurer,
you got to be a deputy.
No, if I'm the treasurer and I don't have a deputy, who else is there to sign, sir? Right. Well, I don't know, somebody. I said, somebody like who? I just grab somebody off the street because you don't know like what person is affiliated with my.
And this is how they know the intricates and why they get to stay in the seats, because they understand government. Because once they get elected, and they keep getting elected over and over, they know they know the system, they know the intertwine, they know the, they know the government, so they know how to work the system.
My biggest thing so far has been the level in which we can raise this money to campaign. Like $25 per person, but everywhere else around us can get $100 in cash per person. Like, why is Akron so low? Why is it so low here in Akron that we can only take $25 per person? And then it's like you can do events where the small things, a lot of people with small amounts can add up, but we up against a clock. This primary normally wasn't supposed to be in May. Like, other places don't have theirs in May. When they have it, October or something like that?
Yeah, but they did that basically. They did it because it was a personal agenda. They did it during a time when they didn't want Mike Williams to be running from a safe seat when he was running against the other former mayor. So what they did was they got other individuals to do the mayor's betting, and let's just change the whole landscape of how we do city council.
More 7 to 6 type.
I mean, it should never be
in May.
The city council members are running, because you need to have veterans in place, 2 or 3 or 4 of them, and then new ones come in. It shouldn't be a whole city council running at one time. But they did it because they just didn't want city council at large members, or in particularly during that time, they just didn't want Mike Williams running from a safe seat.
And that's what I'm saying though. So now everybody else is inconvenienced. Like, you normally be able to get the summertime, like they said, to go ahead and be out there with parades and everything else, getting your name out there so they fully know you. So the year just ended. Everything was submitted by February, and you're telling me 3 months later we got to put you're putting folks back in the same seats, basically. Right. But I don't like that, and I don't like the fact that we can't get as much money as other surrounding areas.
But that was all designed by one party, because we haven't been at their table.
I understand. No, I understand. I understand it's been designed, but let's not say this. Let's not focus on the party. It was the person.
Right.
The person designed this for everybody else who was opposed of that person to fail, whether it's another Democrat or it's a Republican.
Right.
That was their design.
And that's how things go and continue to go. That if you are disruptive or you're not a part of their agenda, this is what I'm saying on the weed out. Even when it comes to funding for organizations, it's all done for political retribute or whatever. You're not going to get funded. But your same idea that you might have wrote to try to move our community forward, it'll get funded under somebody else. They'll take it and give your grant and have them write it.
Well, I can say that, when I announced my candidacy, I told my mom, she's a big time Democrat, city, civic leader and everything. She just went in her room and shut the door. But then she came out and she said, "You my son and I love you." And I said, "Well, you know what? don't vote for the party, vote for the man.
There you go.
And that's what I'm telling everybody. You know, if you got a problem with, you know, being a man of God and that sort of thing. But I will say that my response from the community has been overwhelmingly positive.
And it has.
It's people that's
Definitely.
they surprised, but they proud of me for stepping out there on faith and trying something and running on this side as opposed to the other side. And I've heard from a lot of upper echelon Democrats that said, I can't support you publicly, but I will vote for you. Now that's yet to be seen.
Right.
Yeah, and I know that everybody probably saying
Right.
that because that's what they telling my mom. I can't support him, but I'll vote for him. And they probably won't, but it's fine.
Right.
You know, I'm good. Win or lose, I'm good.
I'm good, yeah, definitely, and I'm gonna stay here.
But is Akron gonna be good? Like, is Akron gonna be good if the wrong people are constantly losing? No, we're never gonna be good.
But that shows you Akron, because if we keep voting the same people and keep getting the same results, then we're at a place in our city as a community, you know, and I don't know, you know, far as the percentages wise, black and white, I haven't looked that up. I have looked up how many
39%, 38,
black is
39%.
38,
Yeah.
39%.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you got to think if it's, I think the census said it's about 300,000 in Akron, and we might have about 100,000 that votes. So then you got to kind of tap into who are those hardcore voters. Can I pull some of those from that side to our side,
That's how
or
it
just get
plays with
some
me.
people, more Republicans, to just come out and vote for us? That's going to be the key, the exposure.
Our city needs more vibrancy, right? And we were just discussing a few numbers. City actually has about 200,000 people, and that number has declined by a couple percentage points over the past couple years. I'm not sure if y'all are aware, but I'm a huge advocate for the arts and culture community here in Akron, Ohio. I serve on Arts Now's Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, Accessibility Advisory Board. I have put on countless events to help platform artists in different mediums in the city. And I still continue to advocate for inclusion and belonging within that space. I'm not sure if it's a part of anybody's particular platform, but how do you all as candidates see yourselves being able to advocate for more of an infusion and investment of the arts in different communities here in Akron, Ohio?
Okay.
Taking
I can go first.
Go ahead.
All right, so the late Kim McClintock, he started the African Festival. It used to be at Lane Field. I support you on that. I know they're gonna probably say safety is the issue, because why do we have to come downtown to celebrate our heritage? It needs to go back into our community. I don't want to come downtown. I just don't want to come downtown to it. It don't have the same feel. It don't have the same vibe.
Just because it's downtown don't make it no safer either.
You don't. Thank you. I like that. And so I can totally be on board of what you're saying. Why do we always have to leave our community when it comes to the cultural arts? And that whole corridor for you in Fourth Ward, when we coming down Copley from South Hawkins till we get to the freeway, it should really look like a neighborhood that identifies what it is, the Fourth Ward, an entertainment area. That whole front of those buildings need to be re-landscaped over to make that business district look like it's a Fourth Ward business district. I mean, there is a young lady, I hate that her name escapes me, that has been doing a little bit of decorating. I mean, it just lifts my spirit that when I'm driving to go get on the freeway, I see a couple Christmas lights and, you know, little stuff around the trees, not much, but the spirit is there. And I like that, because that's the one thing that I miss about Akron is the intimacy of the people. And so I could definitely get on board with what you would want to bring as far as their entertainment.
Well, one of the things I definitely understand is that in business, you get in what you get out. You get in, I'm sorry, you get out what you put in. So what it boils down to me is that they need to invest more into these arts. These arts cannot die. It's not like kids aren't out here doing art or drawing or posing new ways to do art. They're doing art that you guys never even thought of back in the day. Like, it's all type of artistic expressions going on with these kids, but if they don't have anywhere for this to come out, then it dies. So one of the things that I've been trying to get together is my nonprofit. It will be it's called the Ro Rasan Collective, which would actually be, I'm trying to get it in Kenmore, just because to start it off in Kenmore is very artsy. If you go down Kenmore Boulevard, you see a lot of change in Kenmore. But it will be a collective of all the arts of all the people, the adults and children. So that's culinary arts, that's actual arts, fine arts, when it comes to music, things of that nature, and display it on platforms where, if this child is good at sculpting or good at painting, I say maybe once every week they have an open gallery where this child can get his artwork sold. Now that I got my artwork sold at a young age, $60, $70, somebody bought it in the community, guess what? That goes back into me getting more supplies, more things for myself, but it also does not kill my dream, because as an artist, a music artist myself, in the past, I know it was at a point in time it came about where either I'm going to focus on this art or I'm going to go make money so I can live. And the art had to die inside of me. Mm-hmm. And if we don't allow kids to do that at an early age, don't have to face that decision at an early age, I feel we'll have a better artistic community in Akron.
Why not start in a community that doesn't already see arts investment? One thing for me is I'm a huge believer in, if you invest in the underserved, you're being more equitable to the whole. And my thought process is, if I take some money to be able to properly invest in arts and culture and entertainment to build a more vibrant Ward 4, then you're going to start to see that district become a destination district.
Okay, and everybody can start saying the same thing. Well, why not Ward 5? Well, why not Ward 3?
Why not be equitable to everything?
The reason why I said Kenmore, what was that, Ward 9? Or what was that, Ward 9 in Kenmore area? I believe so. The reason I say that is because it's already there. Like,
so
and from there we can maneuver to other portions of the town, but like, I don't want anybody else to say, well, why you didn't start here? Well, the art was already in Kenmore. So this is the reason I started in Kenmore, and now we can expand to other wards.
And another thing you can do is include the youth with the decision making. Ask them who they want to see.
And
ask them who wants to come here.
Like, I would like to see a high school band in the parade. All we have is drill team. But we don't even have them hardly no more. We have non-instrument organizations. When we have drill team, we don't hear no drums, we don't hear no horn sections. It's almost like we have to do a Save the Music campaign just to get instruments into.
But you got to start it in the middle schools.
In the middle school,
or in the high school. At that point,
you don't even see a halftime
in
show
the middle schools, this is where you build their curiosity for that music. The first time you get introduced to an instrument is after you get finished with 5th grade and you are now in middle school. That's when I first learned to play the trumpet. In 6th grade, and it's the passion that you have. But like we were just saying, we just had a meeting yesterday at the school. Everybody broke up and went to their sections. I went to the fine arts at Firestone, and like I told them over at Firestone, listen, you cannot approach these children like it's not 2023. You can't sit up here and play Good Golly Miss Molly. They don't understand what Good Golly Miss Molly means or what it is. What they do know over here is the song from Wakanda Forever that Rihanna's singing. They understand that because that's on all their TikToks. Right. So what you continue to tell these children to play something from the 1960s, you're going to lose their interest, which also depletes the programs.
And they get bored. And they want to start seeing something else. Just like bringing acts downtown. Like if they bring the Whispers back here one more time, it seems like the Whispers is here every month.
I mean the Twins, yeah.
Oh my God. They was at Tangiers every month. Now they downtown every month. It's like,
the Whispers live in here. That's the secret that they ain't telling. That's what they whisper.
Here. But maybe they might bring Shaka Khan.
Yes.
Maybe you might bring Frankie Beverly.
Look at the Jazz Fest down in
Bring
Cincinnati.
Jodeci.
Look at the Jazz Fest.
Anything.
You can go down there and pull one of them acts. They can come up here and do a song. I'm sure the money in the budget is the same, but my God, the Whispers.
But my thing would be is we should not have to let us go back home. So I can kind of see that vision. I know safety, they're going to make it up to be the factor. We can't do it because of safety. well, you would have issues down there. I don't want to be downtown. It stopped, like,
And
my
that-
mother from going. She used to look forward to going to, she would even go.
That's
So-
going to be the biggest deterrent because the city does not recognize or they don't value what's going on until the violence happens around them. When they close these other nightclubs down around the city, and oh no, we don't want you over here, and everybody converge downtown to the Czar and Brewbakers, and all this violence is now breaking out outside downtown around folks who weren't even. I might be going to Insomnia Cookies, and now I'm caught up in some mess. That's when they wanted to disperse it from downtown everywhere. So it's going to take for them to bring it downtown, and sad to say, something tragic might happen or something scary might happen downtown. You know what? We can't have that. That was right next to the Rubber Ducks gang. I mean, people go to the Rubber Ducks. You know what? Take that stuff back to the east and the west side.
Right.
And that's what it's going to be.
And the big thing is, it comes down to making the vibrancy more accessible. Not everybody can get downtown. It's not about not necessarily wanting to be downtown and just want to be at home, but sometimes people do not have the ability to make their way to a centralized location. And I think when it comes to whether it's the political campaigns, arts and culture, invest in our communities and creating a better quality of life, I think making that accessible for every single Akron citizen.
If they were
should be the
able
goal.
to break down the fireworks, which used to be something great in Akron, and everybody would travel by the masses downtown, to the point where now they're doing them in individual neighborhoods, then why not do that for the music programs as well? Bust them back down to individual neighborhoods and let you guys, then therefore, Frankie, the Whispers got a chance to go play on the north side. Maybe people on the north side want to hear them, but you don't. You might be wanting to hear Jill Scott, who's going to the west. But I mean, that's the thing about it. You subject the same people to the same things when you do things like that.
Well, I don't want to take up too much more of you guys' time, but I do want you guys to give me one phrase, just one phrase, about who you are, what you want to accomplish, and the vibes you're presenting for a more vibrant Akron. Just one phrase.
A voice for everyone.
Make no mistake, vote for Blake.
I am the people's champ. I'm sorry.
The people's champ?
I am the people's champ.
I like that.
Okay, but let me go ahead and change mine back. It's not the party, it's the person.
Okay.
Not the party,
Still.
the person?
I am the people's champ.
Okay.
I want to
I
thank
like
y'all
that.
all for coming out. Thank y'all all for coming out. It was a pleasure talking to everybody, getting ideas from across the aisle. And if you are a candidate running in this primary, I want to talk to you. I want to get your perspective on how you view a more vibrant Akron, how you view a more fresh perspective here. I'm Will Blake, candidate for Ward 4. Thanks for tuning in.
Blue's more than a color. Blue is an attitude.
Black media, black media, black media, black media, black media.